is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I give the miracles I have received. I give the miracles I have received. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I am at home. Fear is a stranger here. I am at home. Fear is a stranger here. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Well, thank you all so much for joining me in studying A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles here on Sunday, June the 23rd of 2024, Lesson 175. I'm Miracle Willie, forgiveness teacher from the Ozarks. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Are you doing your few-minute morning meditation and few minutes before you go to bed meditation for at least 5 minutes, longer if you can? And are you making a real effort of trying to bring your attention back to the lesson every hour of the day, asking for guidance, checking in to see whether or not you're at peace, giving God thanks for the things that have happened in the hour gone by, and asking for direction for the things yet to come in the next hour? Be sure to do that best you can. It's a nice, there's a lot of things that happen in our day-to-day in our minds that are not really in harmony with our identity as love beings, as God is but love and therefore so am I mentality. So we'll catch it as you begin to still your mind and notice, bring your attention back to the lesson for the day. Today, tell yourself, God is but love and therefore so am I. I give the miracles I have received. I'm giving the love that I have received. And that's another, all acts of love are miracles. And in this world, we need lots of miracles. It reminds me of what Jesus said, that in the last days, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. We seem to think that there's a justification for attack and for protecting ourselves, and don't realize that time is nothing, and that we can be at peace in every moment when we can just keep our mind abiding in God, in love. And then the other idea we're going to keep in mind today, that was lesson 159, I give the miracles I have received. God is but love, and therefore so am I. And then lesson 160, I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. We don't have to give in to fear thoughts. Remember that we're learning that is what's underneath the world. That's the thoughts in our mind that make the world, that make the body, and make the idea that attack is real. And the fact that we don't look closely is what keeps that alive and seems to justify it. Okay, let's see what else. Today we're just going to hang out with the idea God is but love and therefore so am I. I give the miracles I have received. God is but love and therefore so am I. I am at home. Fear is a stranger here. You're at home. That's your identity, to be fearless. Fear is the stranger in your life, and treat it as such. Dismiss it. and then God is but love, and therefore so am I. Okay, well, let's go look in our text reading, and we're not going to read through this whole section. We're ready for chapter 19, the attainment of peace, section 1, healing and faith. And we're going to go through about half of it today, and we'll get the other half tomorrow. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I give the miracles I have received. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I am at home, fear is a stranger here. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I just like to say that several times during our lessons so that you can forget and remember, and maybe eventually you won't even forget. It'll just always be right there, right under the surface. Okay, out of holidays and observances, today is Pentecost Sunday in the Greek Orthodox Church. Do you all remember what the word for peace is in Greek? Eirini. So, Eirini be with you. Let's see, America's Kids Day, Widow's Day, and I suppose widowers too, Widow's Day, Let It Go Day, and I'd say learn to let everything go. The way I found years ago is that if you just give up what comes before you, which is a definition I like of forgiveness, is to give up what comes before you. If you give it up, no matter what it is, just give it up, let it go. If it's real, it'll still be there, or it'll return to you, however you want to look at it. If it wasn't real, you were a good thing to let it go. So learn to be in that state of just letting things go, knowing that you can let go and let God. Let go and let love, maybe. What would Jesus do? What would love do? WWLD and as well as WWJD. Okay, let's see what else we got going today. Let It Go Day, Pink Day, Pink Flamingo Day. The Phoenicapterus is the genus of the Caribbean flamingo. They live all the way up into Florida, down into South America. The Phoenicopterus is the genus, and there's two different species. There's the ruber and the roseus. Okay, and I thought something I found out I thought was pretty neat about flamingos is that they have a gland that can remove salt, so they can drink salt water and not dehydrate them. They remove the salt so that they now have fresh water. Thought that was pretty cool. Public Service Day, Runner Selfie Day. I don't know, you're supposed to take a selfie on the run. SAT Math Day, Typewriting Day, United Nations Public Service Day, United States Coast Guard Auxiliary Birthday began on this day in 1939. And I'm sitting in front of some giant ragweed. I kind of wanted to let you, I picked a piece before let me just show you a leaf of it. It's so that you kind of get an idea. That is your giant ragweed. And, the giant, it's starting to wilt a little. I just picked it a minute ago, but right before I turned on the video. Let's see, of the giant ragweed, it's the ambrosia, what is the ambrosia trifida is the giant ragweed, and the common ragweed is Ambrosia artemisifolia. So this, I'm pretty sure this is the giant ragweed. It gets up 8 foot tall. It's already over my head, 6-7 foot tall already this year. Okay, let's see, and then out of edible landscaping, I told you ragweed yesterday, and I didn't get the name. That's why I wanted to go ahead and tell you what the genus and species was. Common Ozark plant. Let's see, of the in edible landscaping, we have the 7432 hardy male kiwi, selection from Chico, California in 1974. blooms a few days earlier than 7446, which is also known as the Clark, which we talked about yesterday. Pollinates all of our hardy female varieties, all of the Actinidia artucas, argutas, and zones 5 through 8, all the way through the Ozarks, spaced 15 foot apart on 6 foot tall trellis. Okay, there's your 7432 hardy male kiwi, Actinidia arguta. Okay, now let's go take a look at our lesson and take along with you, God is but love and therefore so am I. I give the miracles I have received. I am at home, fear is a stranger here. God is but love and therefore so am I. Okay, the Attainment of Peace, chapter 19, section 1, Healing and Faith. We said before that when a situation has been dedicated wholly to truth, peace is inevitable. Its attainment is the criterion by which the wholeness of the dedication can be safely assumed. So you can assume you've dedicated everything to truth if you feel at peace. If you're not at peace, and you have to be really honest with yourself in evaluating that, because the ego would like you to say, well, of course I'm at peace, when you're clearly not. Or maybe it's not so clear. That's why we want to have these hourly remembrances throughout the day, and why we want to have a little longer period morning and evening. It's as important as sleep. Maybe it's more important than sleep. Its attainment, so let's read that again. We said before that when a situation has been dedicated wholly to truth, peace is inevitable. Its attainment is the criterion by which the wholeness of the dedication can be safely assumed. Yet we also said that peace without faith will never be attained. For what is dedicated to truth as its only goal is brought to truth by faith. You know, the appearances of this world, we want to look beyond them, and that takes faith. This faith encompasses everyone involved. And for only this faith encompasses everyone involved. For only thus the situation is perceived as meaningful and as a whole. And everyone must be involved in it, or else your faith is limited and your dedication incomplete. And you won't have peace because your dedication's not complete. We want to see truth in everything. We want to see God everywhere. And actually see He's a very present help in time of need. That He's actually working in us through the power of love. Paragraph 2, every situation properly perceived becomes an opportunity to heal the Son of God. And He is healed because you offered faith to Him, giving Him to the Holy Spirit and releasing Him from every demand your ego would make of Him. Wow, can you do that? Every demand your ego would make of Him because of what these eyes see. We want to look beyond what these eyes see and use the vision of Christ and see the forgiven world. We want to see that it's worth forgiving because that's real. That's what we want to have our faith in, what's real, what transcends death, what's happening right now, always. Thus do you see Him free. Okay, so let's read that again. Every situation properly perceived becomes an opportunity to heal the Son of God. And He is healed because you offered faith to Him, giving Him to the Holy Spirit and releasing Him from every demand your ego would make of Him. Thus do you see Him free, and in this vision does the Holy Spirit share. And since He shares it, He has given it, and so He heals through you. It is this joining Him in a united purpose that makes this purpose real, because you make it whole. And this is healing. The body is healed because you came without it and joined the mind in which all healing rests. Wow, catch that. The body's healed because you came with your mind and gave faith to what was real. And it trickle down economy from the God's economy of mind and wholeness, that God is but love and therefore so am I, trickles down into the body and into health. Paragraph 3, the body cannot heal because it cannot make itself sick. It's the mind that makes it sick. It needs no healing. The body needs no healing. Its health or sickness depends entirely on how the mind perceives it and the purpose that the mind would use it for. It is obvious that a segment of the mind can see itself as separated from the universal purpose, and that's capitalized, universal purpose. We want to see the universal purpose. God is but love, and therefore so am I, and we have a purpose, which is to love. When this occurs, it is obvious that a segment of the mind can see itself as separated from the universal purpose. When this occurs, the body becomes its weapon, used against this purpose to demonstrate the, in quotes, fact, because it's not really a fact, that separation has occurred. The body thus becomes the instrument of illusion, acting accordingly, seeing what is not there, hearing what truth has never said, and behaving insanely, being imprisoned by insanity. Oh my. Let's read that again. The body cannot heal because it cannot make itself sick. It needs no healing. Its health or sickness depends entirely on how the mind perceives it and the purpose that the mind would use it for. It is obvious that a segment of the mind can see itself as separated from the universal purpose. That's that little speck of dust that we think we are. It is obvious that a segment of the mind can see itself as separated from the universal purpose. When this occurs, the body becomes its weapon, used against this purpose to demonstrate the, in quotes, fact that separation has occurred. The body thus becomes the instrument of illusion, acting accordingly, seeing what is not there, hearing what truth has never said, and behaving insanely, being imprisoned by insanity. 4. Do not overlook our earlier statement that faithlessness leads straight to illusions. For faithlessness is the perception of a brother as a body, and the body cannot be used for purposes of union. So we want to have faith that our brother's not the body, that he's an eternal spirit one with me. For faithlessness is the perception of a brother as a body, and the body cannot be used for purpose of union. If then you see your brother as a body, you have established a condition in which uniting with him becomes impossible. Your faithlessness to him has separated you from him and kept you both apart from being healed. Your faithlessness has thus opposed the Holy Spirit's purpose and brought illusions, centered on the body, to stand between you. And the body will seem to be sick, for you have made it an, in quotes, enemy of healing and the opposite of truth. 5. It cannot be difficult to realize that faith must be the opposite of faithlessness. Yet the difference in how they operate is less apparent, though it follows directly from the fundamental difference in what they are. Faithlessness would always limit and attack. Faithlessness, not to see the good in your brother, not to see God in your brother, not to have the eyes of Christ and see their reality. It says that's faithlessness. Faithlessness would always limit and attack. Faith would remove all limitations and make whole. Faithlessness would destroy and separate. Faith would unite and heal. Faithlessness would impose illusions between the Son of God and His Creator. Faith would remove all obstacles that seem to rise between them. Faithlessness is wholly dedicated to illusions. Faith, wholly dedicated to truth. Partial dedication is impossible. Truth is the absence of illusion. Illusion, the absence of truth. Truth is the absence of illusion, to see what's really there. Both cannot be together, truth and illusion. Both cannot be together, nor perceived in the same place. To dedicate yourself to both is to set up a goal forever impossible to attain. For part of it is sought through the body, thought of as a means for seeking out reality through attack. The other part would heal, and therefore calls upon the mind and not the body. And that's the part we want to rely on more and more, because when we dedicate ourselves wholly to truth, which is the only true actor, everything else is an illusion, a dream we're going to wake up from. Let's wake up sooner rather than later and have our peace be now. The other part, that little mad idea, that little speck of dust, the other part would heal. Let's back up. To dedicate yourself to both is to set up a goal forever impossible to attain. For part of it is sought through the body, thought of as a means for seeking out reality through attack. The other part would heal, and therefore calls upon the mind and not the body. Paragraph 6. So let's don't rely on that little speck of dust. Let's look at our real true reality, the whole, the universal purpose. Paragraph 6. The inevitable compromise is the belief that the body must be healed and not the mind. For this divided goal has given both an equal reality, which could be possible only if the mind is limited to the body and divided into little parts of seeming wholeness, but without connection. This will not harm the body, but it will keep the dissolutional thought system in the mind. Here, then, is healing needed. The inevitable compromise is the belief that the body must be healed and not the mind. Let's don't fall into that trap. That's easy to fall into because almost everybody believes the body needs to be healed by all kinds of things. But he's trying to get us to see, no, it's the mind that needs to be healed. And this will not harm the body, but it will keep the delusional thought system in the mind. Here, then, is healing needed. It is here that healing is. For God gave healing not apart from sickness nor established remedy where sickness cannot be. They are together. And when they are seen together, all attempts to keep both truth and delusion in the mind, where both must be, are recognized as dedication to illusion, and given up when brought to truth, and seen as totally unreconcilable with truth, in any respect or in any way. Paragraph 7. Truth and illusion have no connection. This will remain forever true however much you seek to connect them. But illusions are always connected as is truth. Okay, so it'll seem real because all your illusions will seem to make a reality that's connected. But they're all based on the idea that cannot be, that you're separated, and that you didn't have faith in your wholeness, the universal purpose, that God is but love, and therefore so am I. Truth and illusions have no connection. This will remain forever true, however much you seek to connect them. But illusions are always connected, as is truth. Each is united, a complete thought system, but totally disconnected from each other. Truth from illusion are disconnected from each other. And to perceive this is to recognize where separation is and where it must be healed. The result of an idea is never separate from its source. The idea of separation produced the body and remains connected to it, making it sick because the mind's identification with it. You think you are protecting the body by hiding this connection, for this concealment seems to keep your identification safe from the attack of truth. And the attack is in quotes because it'll just seem to be an attack from truth. It's going to shake your whole world when the truth comes into a world based on illusions. But that's what we want to learn to have faith in, so that we can turn that upside down perspective right side up and get our mind straightened out so we be totally dedicated to truth and have peace. And I think the last paragraph we'll read today, paragraph 8, and we're about halfway through this section. If you but understood how much this strange concealment has hurt your mind, and how confused your own identification has become because of it, you do not see how great the devastation wrought by faithlessness. For faithlessness is an attack that seems to be justified by its results. For by withholding faith, you see what is unworthy of it, and cannot look beyond the barrier to what is joined with you. To have faith is to heal. That's the first sentence in paragraph 9. To have faith is to heal. So let's just keep that, you don't have to do anything, and you'll be, if you live the life that most of us have been raised living, you'll be living the life of faithlessness. But we want to now transfer our allegiance to truth and see truth in every occurrence of the day, and know that we can, when we dedicate it wholly to truth, that now we can be at peace. Matter of fact, that's how you can know that you have dedicated it all to truth, he begins by saying, because you'll be at peace. So watch your peace. Let that be your guide, your peace and joy. Okay, well, I think we're going to give the miracles that we've received today, and we are going to recognize that we're home. Fear is the stranger here. Let's don't think that fear is our identity. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I give the miracles I have received. I give the miracles I have received. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I am at home, fear is the stranger here. I am at home, fear is the stranger here. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. So let's have faith in our brothers and sisters, not see them as a body, but see them as the eternal spirit that's one with us, our shared purpose, our shared reality of love. See that in them. No matter what these eyes see, look beyond those appearances. Take faith, take heart, have faith, be at peace. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I give the miracles I have received. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I am at home, fear is the stranger here. God is but love, and therefore so am I. And when we are to give the miracles we have received, what we're doing, we're learning to look beyond the appearances. It talks about there in Hebrews, the chapter on faith, chapter 11 or 12. Where it says that Moses saw that which was unseen. So we want to learn to see what's unseen, not with these eyes, but with the mind of Christ. And that's the miracle, to see beyond the appearances. Receive that miracle, predicated on forgiveness. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I give the miracles I have received. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I am at home, fear is the stranger here. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Eirini.